Welcome to Joy Radio, your friend and companion in Jesus. You are tuned into Hospivision, brought to you by Radio Pulpit and proudly sponsored by the Abba Embrace Foundation, an organization committed to healing the land and its people. In today's conversation, Pieter Barnard will be speaking with Sunette Kotze on the topic of impossible healings. We believe this program will be a blessing to you, so let's sit back and have a listen.
Program is Hospivision on this Sunday morning, and it's 10 a.m. It's great to have you with us. Thank you for tuning in today, and also thank you for our guest in the studio today, Sunette Kotze. Sunette, welcome. It's good to have you with us.
Thank you, Pieter, for the opportunity to share my story today.
Sunette, you've had an experience which everybody else would consider to totally impossible.
Yes.
Now, impossibility is the specialty of the God we serve. Tell us about how you did it.
Yes, I had an experience with God where just one word from the Lord changed everything, changed my whole life. And I need to clarify the God that I'm talking about. This God who revealed himself is the God outside of space, time, and matter. He's the God that is not affected by time. He's not in time. He's outside of space. He's looking at the light years in front of him, and he's looking at us, and we are part of the macrocosmos. We are so small. And yet, in Psalm 116, verse 1, he said to me, I hear your voice. He hears my voice. In the life application, it says he bends down and listens. And he was the one who revealed himself to me. And this specific incident changed the way that I perceive my life completely. So in 2012, I had pancreatitis for the third time. And it was bad. This time it was really bad. And I had a very high fever, and I looked almost 9 months pregnant, Pieter. The university came and took pictures of my side because it was blue. But I was swelling up, and I had intense pain that I cannot describe. It's worse than a kidney stone. I don't know. Have you had a kidney stone before? It's terrible.
Bad. It's bad. I've had it.
Yes, and I had so much pain that I went in and out of consciousness. It was I was actually in a semi-coma. But I thank God today that I had a best friend, Linda, then, because I'm thinking about it now, that if it wasn't for her, I would have died that day. And she took me to Tanya. Of course, it was a disaster and a waste of our time. But while I was sitting there in the wheelchair that she got me in, we were waiting for a doctor for almost an hour. I knew that moment that I was going to die. I knew it. And she decided to take me to Kloof Hospital and get me stabilized and then send me to Steve Biko, which they did. Unfortunately, while they transported me to the hospital, I was wet from the fever, but they did not cover me with the blankets properly, and the ambulance was extremely cold. So when I got to the hospital, I had double pneumonia. And I don't remember how they got me into the bed at ICU, but when I was there, I was looking at my body from above, and I heard everything, I saw everything. I could just not communicate to nobody. So I saw pipes everywhere. There was pipes in my nose, pipes in my mouth, and there was RVs in my chest and an RV in my arm. And I heard, of course, these horrible sounds of machines. I think I was connected to about 3 machines, but I heard these machines all the time. So I remember that the pain was extreme. That's probably why I was in the semi-coma, because I don't think physically can anybody handle that kind of pain. It was just terrible. And I remember there was blood everywhere on the floor, and I was laughing at Linda because she was grabbing one of the sheets from the other beds, and she was wiping the floor with wiping my blood from the floor. And I saw all this from above, but I could not communicate to them. Then something really funny happened. I traveled in that hospital. I went everywhere where my blood was. So they came to take blood from my arm, and I followed the vials wherever the vials was going, and they took it to a room and put it in a container and sealed the container and send it off. And then I found myself in a room. I knew that it was on the first floor next to the morgue. And I was standing in that room and I was looking at this bale of filthy blankets and bloody sheets that was there. And I felt trapped in that room because I heard my children crying. I heard their voices. I even felt their kisses on my arm, Pieter. But I could not reach them. I felt so trapped. And then suddenly, I was in the corridor. You know, Civica has got this long corridor, and I knew that it was almost a kilometer long. And I was standing behind Linda. She was sitting on the bench. And there, I was probably in the wall, but I was sitting on the bench. She was sitting on the bench. I was standing behind her. And a color doctor came to sit next to her. And remember, I looked at his beautiful beard. And he put his hand on Linda's arm, and he said to her, "Your friend is not going to make it tonight. She's my sickest patient. You better call her children." And just then, I said, in my spirit, I said, "I will not die." And the moment I said it, I was back in my body. And I was lying there, and I did not leave my body again because I was so scared that they will switch off the machines. I heard these machines in my head all the time, but I was not leaving my body then. And then I saw my life like a movie. I think I was hallucinating all the time, but I saw my life, incidents of my life like a movie going off. And every question that I had, I immediately had the answer. It was really funny. Everything, unfortunately, I can't remember what I asked the Lord, but every question I had the answer immediately. And then at one time, I was alone on that bed, and the curtain was drawn around me, and suddenly a man came walking. He was actually walking towards the woman next to me, and he just turned his face, and he was standing like that, staring at me right through that curtain, and he was looking at me, and he was looking right through my soul. And the moment that moment that he was standing there, I heard God's voice. It could have been audibly, I don't know, but God said to me, "You know, Sunette, I'm your breath of life." And I said, "Yes, Lord, you are my breath of life." And the moment I said that man disappeared like powder. And I don't know how long after that he came back, walking in the same way, stood there, turned his face and looking at me, right at me. And the Lord said again, he said to me, "You know, I'm the sweetness of your life." And I said, "Yes, Lord. You are. You are the sweetness of my life." And the moment I say that, then he just went. And I realized that God was teaching me to speak life over my lungs, which had double pneumonia, and to my pancreas, which was inflamed. And I realized that every time when I speak it, something happened to that angel of death. I realized that he was the angel of death. And every time when he comes back, now a little bit further, he was standing a bit further, I would say and start worshiping the Lord, and he would disappear. And then one night, the pain was unbearable, Pieter. I could not bear the pain anymore. And I begged God. I said to him, "Please, Lord, take me." And I started praying and asked God to just taking care of the girls. I remember praying for them, praying that God will take care of them, they will provide for them. But I can't take this anymore. It was just horrible. And God just made me fall asleep. For the first night, there was nothing. I didn't feel anything. And the next morning, I woke up as if I came out of water, like shoo, out of water. And the first voice I heard was Papa's voice. And he said to me, "Sunette, you will live to tell." So, after that, nothing was the same. Everything that I thought was important wasn't important anymore. The dishes wasn't important. Making the beds was not important. The things that is more important was relationships. So, God changed the way I think about life from that moment.
And now when you look back, you've got a testimony.
I do, yeah. Thanks. Thank you.
But it's quite something to go through, but in the end, there's something that you can use to glorify God.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah. Have you shared this testimony before?
Well, not on the air, but yes, my family knows everything about it, and they went through. The thing is, while I was there, my mother was in another hospital. She had a back operation, and I thought about it. Why didn't I see any light? She was, while I was there, she was praying, Lord, please don't let us see Jesus, because if she sees Jesus, she will go. So my mother kept me.
And that's one of the amazing things about death is if you see Jesus, you want to go, you want to be with him. And I say if the Christians could see what heaven is like, they would all commit suicide. But that's just a joke. Yeah. All right. Now, thank you very much for that. It's a real powerful testimony. I was speaking to Sunette Kosia about her experience brush with death. The program is Hospivision, and as usual, it's time for us to share a devotion with you. In 1 Kings 17, Elijah asked the woman for some bread, and even though he knew she could not afford it because it was all that she had, she stepped out in faith, and the Lord replied with an unlimited supply of flour and oil. Elijah also asked the Lord to give her a son, and that happened. And we take the story from there in 1 Kings chapter 17, verses 17 to 23. I'm going to read for you. Sometime later, the son of the woman who owned the house became ill. He grew worse and finally stopped breathing. She said to Elijah, "What do you have against me, man of God? Did you come to remind me of my sin and kill my son?" "Give me your son," Elijah replied. He took him from her arms, carried him to the upper room where he was staying, and laid him on his bed. And then he cried out to the Lord, "Lord my God, have you brought tragedy even on this widow who I am staying with by causing her son to die?" Then he stretched himself out on the boy 3 times and cried out to the Lord, "Lord my God, let this boy's life return to him." The Lord heard Elijah's cry, and the boy's life returned to him, and he lived. Elijah picked up the child and carried him down from the room into the house. He gave him to his mother and said, "Look, your son is alive." I'm just going to read that for God did amazing things in this widow of Zarephath's house and in her life. First, he supplied her with unlimited food in the form of flour and oil. And no matter how much she used, it didn't become less. Then followed the second miracle. This barren woman became pregnant and she bore a son. Then followed the third miracle. The boy died and was raised to life. Have you ever thought about the roles that Elijah and the widow from Zarephath played in this whole story? We recognize it that God did these miracles because no human can do them. But what did these 2 people do? The common denominator for both of them was that they stepped out in faith. Elijah prophesied in faith to the woman that the Lord said the flour would not be used up and the oil would not run dry. The widow took everything she had and made a loaf of bread for Elijah to eat. Wow, what a step in faith if you have nothing. Her step in faith was rewarded. When her son died, she again stepped out in faith and called on the man of God. Humanly speaking, what could Elijah possibly do? After all, the child was dead. Again, the woman's faith was rewarded and her son was raised from the dead. And Elijah? He also had to step out in faith. He was also a human like you and me. but he was called and he obeyed. Every time he stepped out in faith and he saw God at work. You and I might not see God raising the dead under our hands or multiply bread and oil, but God to this day still honors it when we step out in faith. We start with small steps, and as God works, our steps may grow. Let us pray together. Father, help us to step out in faith by leading us in your ways so that we can obey. We ask that now in Jesus' name. Amen. I'd like to invite you to just for a moment sit back and enjoy the music that I'm going to play with you, but listen for what God is saying to you through the music.
Everything is possible for one who believes, just like Mark 9 verse 23 says. This has been the Hospivision program presented by Radio Pulpit and sponsored by the Abba Embrace Foundation. We trust that program uplifted you and blessed you. The song we listened to was Miracles from Alyssa Turner. If you would like to know more about the Abba Embrace Foundation, you can visit their website on www.abba.africa. You can contact the Hospivision at 012-329-9492 and ask for Luvengo, or email her at friend@hospivision.org.za. You can also visit their website on www.hospivision.org.za for more information of the available training courses they give. Our post address is P.O. Box 12423, Queenswood 0121. We would love to hear from you. Perhaps we will contact you next for an interview with Pieter Barnard. I am Tanya Verster. May you have a blessed week ahead. Join us again next week, same time, same place. And I'm playing out with The Victory from All Sons and Daughters.
Our God and